Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba and his Japanese counterpart Yoshimasa Hayashi pay tribute to Ukraine soldiers in Kyiv. Show caption: Russia-Ukraine War at a Glance. Russia-Ukraine War at a Glance. What we know on day 564 of the invasion. G20 declaration nothing to be proud of, says Kyiv. Ukraine warns against lifting sanctions as Russia pushes grain deal. Ukraine condemns lack of progress for a tribunal to prosecute Russian leaders. See all our Russia-Ukraine war coverage. Guardian staff and agencies. Saturday 9th September 2023 21.04 EDT. Share on Facebook, share on Twitter, share via email. The Ukrainian Foreign Ministry has responded to the joint declaration by G20 leaders, describing the sections relating to the Russian invasion of Ukraine as nothing to be proud of. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Oleg Nikolenko called out the declaration for not outright naming Russia. It is clear that the participation of the Ukrainian side would have allowed the participants to better understand the situation. An advisor to the head of the office of Volodymyr Zelensky warned about the consequences of lifting sanctions against Russia, which pushed for a grain deal in the joint G20 declaration that would lift the international SWIFT bank payments system ban on some Russian banks. Even the slightest lifting of sanctions on Russia or any discussions suggesting such an option have consequences, Mikhailo Podolyak said. G20 leaders adopted a consensus declaration on issues facing the bloc after some disagreement over the wording on the war in Ukraine. Western countries had pushed for strong condemnation of Russia while Russia blocked a compromise that was acceptable otherwise for everyone else, an EU diplomat told Reuters. The wording on a portion of the declaration on Ukraine noted the different views and assessments on Russia's war, but underscored that all states must act in a manner consistent with the purposes and principles of the UN Charter in its entirety. It called for the timely and effective implementation to ensure immediate and unimpeded deliveries of grain, foodstuff and fertilizers from Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine's top diplomat, Dmytro Kuleba, has condemned the lack of progress on the creation of a tribunal to prosecute Russian leaders and on the transfer of frozen assets. The foreign minister said the G7 group stands firmly in favor of a hybrid tribunal based on Ukrainian legislation. This would not allow for the immunity of Vladimir Putin and other leading Russian figures to be stripped, an unacceptable option for Kyiv. Ukraine's newly nominated defense minister, Rustem Umerov, has called on Kyiv's partners to increase deliveries of heavy weapons amid a long and difficult counteroffensive against Russian forces. We are grateful for all the support provided. We need more heavy weapons, Umerov said in an embargoed speech released on Saturday. At least 5 blasts were heard early on Sunday across the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv, Reuters witnesses reported. Kyiv's mayor, Vitaly Klitschko, said air defense systems were engaged in repelling a Russian air attack. Kyiv residents are fearing a property grab by developers, with the war not diminishing the appetite for prime property in the city or halting the scramble to get hold of empty plots for construction. While developers seek to take advantage of Russia's invasion, it has also spurred opposition to their plans. New fragments of a drone similar to those used by the Russian military were found on Romanian soil, the President and Defense Ministry said on Saturday, the second discovery of its kind in Romanian territory this week. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, warned of a potential threat to nuclear safety after a surge in fighting near the Russian-occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. The UN atomic watchdog said its experts at Europe's largest nuclear power plant reported hearing explosions over the past week. Zelensky said on Saturday he had agreed to begin bilateral talks with Japan over security guarantees at a meeting with the Japanese Foreign Minister, Yoshimasa Hayashi, in Kyiv. There is a good reason why not to support The Guardian. Not everyone can afford to pay for news right now. That is why we keep our journalism open for everyone to read. If this is you, please continue to read for free. But if you are able to, then there are 3 good reasons to support us today from India. 1. Our quality. Investigative journalism is a scrutinizing force at a time when the rich and powerful are getting away with more and more. 2. We are independent and have no billionaire owner pulling the strings, so your money directly powers our reporting. 3. It doesn't cost much and takes less time than it took to read this message. Help power The Guardian's journalism for the years to come, whether with a small sum or a large.